And welcome back to another episode of something. This go around, we're going to do a small, probably 3, 4, 5 part series of me updating, or not updating, but doing some work on the Tiburon. My hope is to update it and maybe do some rally racing with it this year. So I've got a number of parts that I need to install, worn bushing, struts, things of that nature. So my goal is to do that all in a little video series, and hopefully it'll be useful for some people because it's all stock parts. So yeah, with that said, let's take off the wheels and show some things. And so we are doing brakes. We're going to cover the first one, the front. And here's its current condition. Not too bad, but if you look at that, they really shouldn't look that crusty. And this is just from the fact that this car sat for quite a while. And I figured, good idea to replace these if I'm planning on putting some major load on them. So far they work great, but yeah, let's just get this going. And we're back. Quick little intermission just to show those who are not familiar. Brakes and rotors. For that, you have to first remove the caliper. On this car, 14mm bolts, which seems pretty standard. I mean, at least for Toyotas and now Hyundai. And then once you remove that, brake pads normally are easily removable. As you saw, I had to pry mine out. I'm guessing from rust. Here was the back one. You can see where I had to pry it out. Overall, health was pretty good, but whatever. As you see, fair amount of meat. Now, if you're going to remove the rotor like I am, you're going to need to remove that screw. I will show you in the time lapse. But I recently bought an impact screwdriver, which is something that goes in the hole and you use like a hammer or something to hit the back and it'll turn the screw just a little bit so you theoretically don't strip this out, because that is very common to strip out. But with that said, also this bracket here that you saw me remove from here, 17mm bolts. Also the same on the Toyotas I've worked on. With that said, I will continue to dismantle and then reassemble. Hooray! We're going to do a quick little intermission. As you saw, I struggled with this one. I struggled to remove the old one, struggled to put in a new one. I ended up having to kind of get it kind of aligned on both sides and tap it in. that's what worked for me. So if you have problems, you might have to tap it in with like a hammer or something on the back. Also, just deal with the shaking for a minute. Check these before you put your brakes back together. For me, this is probably a good practice anyway, but I'm gonna put some gear oil or some form of oil, lube, grease, whatever, on this one. And just because I'm doing it on that one, because this one is stiff. Like, I think it's out of lube. So, anyway, I'm going to continue reassembling. Also, you saw me with the broken knees. I'm not sure why they have screws anyway, because when you put the wheel on, it's snug. So, whatever. But if you can avoid breaking these, please do. It's probably a good practice. Anyway, yeah, let's get back to work. And there we are. One front brake done. And I'll just go get the other one done because you don't need to see it twice. Next, we're going to move on to the rear brake. So, yeah, let's go get it done. On to the rears. Now, I'm not going to showcase this one either, just because it's the same concept. Undo 2 bolts, caliper comes out. Undo bolts for the bracket here, then you can remove the rotor. But the main differences are, and I'll showcase this a little bit more, you have an e-brake cable on this car. I don't have the best lighting, but you'll get the gist. And I'll show it more later. On my car, for whatever reason, this caliper, the arm is stuck. I'm also hoping to resolve that when I remove this caliper. Cable's fine. I can pull the e-brake and the cable moves. It's just this arm doesn't move. So I'm hoping to spray some crap on it, loosen it up, and get it working. With that said, let me go dismantle some stuff and then bring you back when it's something informative. And guess what? We're back with probably a stopping point, unfortunately. First off, I've got to order a new rear caliper. I had already soaked it with deep creep before. I tried to bend it, loosen it, whatever, but I think something got jammed in it, because if you look at the brake pad, this is the back side, it was not being used evenly. It was an angle, and I'm pretty sure this is going to show that I can tell from the feel that not all the rotor was being used. So, sad, but I've got to wait a little bit. So, I went the approach of, hey, let me start dismantling and getting other things done while waiting. Well, I was going to do this, undo a bolt, whatever. But then, come to find out, there was no bolt in the bottom. So I had been driving this a little bit that way. Before my sister parked it, I'm not sure how long she drove it. So, you never know. I am not sure who... Even when you know the people who've had the car, you never know the shops that have done it. So, I've got to find another bolt. Probably just go to Home Depot or Lowe's or AutoZone or O'Reilly's or whatever. Get a bolt. I mean, unless I can be lazy and see if Rock Auto sells any, but whatever. Get one more bolt and whatever. So yeah, with that said... yeah, one eternity later, yada, yada, yada. And here we are. Everything reassembled for the brakes. Mostly turning. Yeah, there we go. I just bled all the brakes. This is a brand new caliper. Came with a brand new bracket. And with that, came with new caliper bolts. So I was able to use the old ones on this side over on the passenger side. So, calipers are in. Everything's bled. I re-bled the whole system just to try and put some fresh fluid in there. I wasn't sure how old the fluid was, but pretty sure I got all the old stuff out. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Have a good summer. Have a good spring. Whatever it is. Bye-bye.